Knowing how to clean and service your own Husqvarna Viking Onyx 30 is guaranteed to prolong the life of this machine and also to make sure that you're not having thread breaks or skip stitches in the middle of your sewing projects. Hi, I'm Sarah from sewingmastery.com, where we're taking time to go through all the features, functions, stitches, accessory feet for this beautiful machine. Whether you're considering purchasing this machine or you've already bought it and wanting to learn more about it. In the description below, we've got links to threads that we recommend, needles, bobbins, and to the complete playlist of all the videos that we've created on this machine. Plus, we even have some online courses that will help you in the future. So we want to focus first on cleaning the machine. You're going to need a couple things from your accessory box. First off, the brush is so key to it, and this is a dual purpose. This is a seam ripper on one end and a brush on the other. So some type of item that you can get the lint out. So sewing is a very linty process. You're going to find that if you're sewing on cotton fabric or fleece or flannels, you are going to have lots of lint that's going to drop down below this throat plate. So we're going to be taking out these two screws, and you're going to need the screwdriver. That is the screwdriver that comes with this machine, and it's actually ideal because it's short and we can get in underneath this area where a longer screwdriver would be too tall and hit up against this area of the machine. We're going to talk about how often you want to do this and then how often you want to have your machine serviced by a local sewing machine technician. We're also going to talk needles, changing needles, because first thing I'm going to do is take out this needle, put a new needle in, and talk about some of the differences between needles and which ones to pick for certain fabrics. We're also going to touch on tension. You know, so many times people say, oh, my tension is off. Well, what is making that tension not give you a nice even stitch? And an even stitch is when you look at your fabric from the front side and the back side, you shouldn't be able to tell which side you sewed from, which one was the top and which one was the bobbin. So first off, if you are using quality thread, and again, one more part that we're going to talk about in this video is when you use quality thread, it really does make a difference in the stitch and how your machine performs. But if you are using the same thread upstairs and downstairs, that tension is actually balanced. And when you are leaving your tension right here at 4, that is probably going to be just fine. Now, when you're using thread that is a different weight in your needle than what you put in your bobbin, well, that's where one side is going to either be pulled to the top or pulled to the underneath side. And that's when we adjust tension. So tension doesn't mean that you've got a whole bunch of loops on the back of your fabric and it growled at your project and you feel like you've ripped it out. That is not tension. That is probably where you have not threaded it correctly or with purpose, like we talk about in our threading video, where you are getting it deep enough in here. Maybe you threaded it with your presser foot down, which meant this area was closed so the thread didn't get in it. So just lift up your presser foot, re-thread your machine, make sure your bobbin is correctly loaded and in the bobbin area tension. So when we take this apart, I'll point to that important area. If your two threads aren't threaded correctly, yeah, you're going to have trouble, but that's not a tension problem. It's an operator error problem, but it's also simple to fix when you know the basics. So we are going to kind of cover all of those different things. Your manual is going to tell you to turn off the machine, maybe unplug it, just so you don't accidentally do anything. I'm going to leave it on so we have a little bit more light down at this area. And I have done a little sewing, and there's some pink thread in here, so there might be some pink fuzz, and I was working on some batting. Batting is actually a very fuzzy fabric and can also add to this area. So if you're sewing along and your thread breaks, one of two things, you've got extra lint down below, or it's time to change your needle. So that's just your machine telling you, hey, I need a little attention, and the cheapest, easiest thing to do is just put a new needle in and see if that fixes it. And if it's been a while since you've cleaned, that is going to be the next step. We find that when people sew anywhere from 3 to 5 of these bobbins worth of sewing, it's time to clean the machine. It might even sound louder than when you started earlier today. It kind of sounds a little rough. That is also an indication that there's some extra lint down here that we're going to clean out. So this is just like a never-ending cycle. So you might as well take a seat. Let's see how to clean it, take it apart, and put it back together, just so you know how to do this on a regular basis. I know the manual says to clean it like every 8 hours or change your needle every 8 hours, but that's hard to know. Like, did you actually sew during those 8 hours? How much did you sew? So much of sewing is all in the prep. Like, you spend time pinning and pressing and cutting and reading the pattern and reading the pattern again and again. And the sewing machine, if you actually counted how many hours it actually gets used, or in this case, minutes, you actually it's hard to tell. So that's why I go by bobbin filled and used up bobbins that'll give you a better indication of how much you've actually sewn on any given day. Start by taking your screwdriver and loosening the screws. Once you've twisted them a couple times, you can actually start to spin them with your fingers. So let's just start by getting them loosened. This is the first time I've actually taken these screws out. If they're tight, just kind of get them so they'll start to loosen. And then when you tighten them, you don't have to go as tight, just a nice little kind of tweak, and that will hold it in place. Before you go ahead and take those all the way out, let's go ahead and take off the bobbin cover. Set it aside, take your bobbin out, pull the foot towards you. That makes sure that you don't push down on this little kind of his lips. You want to just always push your feet in and then straight towards you so you don't damage that. And then you can loosen the needle. Again, this is where I will use the screwdriver as well. And if this is a needle that you haven't changed recently, let's just go ahead and throw that away, and we'll be putting a new needle in place. So after you get these screws a little loose, see how you can just twist with your fingers, and then they will come easily out of the machine. At this point, this plate will come up, but right now it might be hard for you to get your fingers underneath. So maybe just lift with the screwdriver and kind of get it to come up and then slide it to the side. The next part that we want to look at, number one, this is not lint, that is part of the bobbin case, is I'm going to go ahead and slide this all the way out. And if it's kind of like connected or not, just give it a little wiggle. But one thing I want you to look at, and we'll point to this when we put it all back together, is see this little black, I'm going to call it a heel to this. It's up against this spring area. So what can happen is when people take this out, that you get it back in and it's on the opposite side. So the key will be, we'll have to get it back up here in this area. So I do see a little bit of my pink thread, kind of where the thread cutter is. So I must have cut some there. That's not a problem. But if your thread cutter's not cutting the thread, maybe there is something caught in that area. And I can kind of see a pink layer of fuzz starting down here. So what you don't want to do is actually blow in this area. Like, don't go, oh. You want to actually make sure you brush it out. You could use a makeup brush, a Q-tip. There's lots of little microfiber cleaning tools that are available and really will suck out this lint very quickly. One that I sometimes use is this like mini dust it. It's like a Swiffer for sewing machine because I literally can go like this and it's done. It kind of gets everything all at once. And then you're all ready to put it back together. Now, this part is what you and I get to do. This is like day-to-day concept of cleaning. You put a new needle in, you do a little cleaning, you're good to go. Now, in about a year, your machine might start to sound a little louder. In the whole rest of this machine, there are moving parts. There's oil, grease, gears, everything that is aligned for that needle to perfectly connect with that bob and hook area. And those are things that your local sewing machine service center can do. If you have a Husqvarna Viking store, great. If you don't, there are other stores that have and service all brands of machines. Just look for one of them and they will be able to easily take care of this machine. The key here is putting it all back together. So if I might point out this little point kind of to this both edges here, those need to kind of really be facing straight back when you put this in. So don't make it sideways, just kind of angle it in towards the back of the machine. And as it goes in underneath all these little parts, it will sit down into kind of the whole hook area. So again, you saw that this part is up against the spring. I know that's correct. It should have a little bounce to it. That is an easy way to see that it is correctly replaced. Take your cover plate or your stitch plate, put that back on, and then just put your screws back in. Then we're going to put our bobbin back in, put a new needle in, and actually I put the presser foot on first, then I put my needle in last, and I'll show you why in just a second. Remember, the picture on the bobbin case door here reminds you which way this bobbin needs to drop in. If the thread needs to come off the left-hand side, come all the way down. I usually put my finger on this and click it in. Click. And follow the little white arrows all the way around till you reach the little cutter on this side, and then put the bobbin case door in place. Here's the foot going back into position and a fresh needle. I like to put the foot on first because now I can drop the needle straight down into the sewing area, and that helps me align the flat side to the back and hold it so it goes all the way up to the top, and then twist the screw that's right here. And here's the thing with this screw. What you want to do is you need to turn it tight. You can't over tighten it because over time that will make it so it won't hold. So many people do that and then it then you need a new needle bar there. So you need it to be snug but not over tightened. Keep that in mind. As long as that needle's not going to fall out, that's the goal. This is another way to tell that you've got your needle to the highest position, is that your needle threader lines up. If the needle threader doesn't line up with the hole, you might not have the needle as high up as it is needed to go. At this point, I like to take a little piece of fabric, do a little sewing, just make sure everything is all back together and looking good. Put everything back away so it's right there at your fingertips for later. And if you are in love with this brush that I just showed you, I will put a link to this down in the description below. Okay, let's talk needles and quality thread. So there is different kinds of thread out there. If it's inexpensive, or maybe you got it from somebody who has passed away and it's been in their grandma's sewing box, you know, thread has come a long way. We've come with quality manufacturing, but it is true, if you are paying more for thread, it is a better quality thread. If you find yourself realizing, oh, this thread's really inexpensive, that's actually lower quality thread. So just keep that in mind. It'd be like putting low quality gasoline in a high performance car. So even if you don't feel this is a high performance sewing machine, it actually is. And a quality thread can make any machine so even smoother. So to keep that in mind, there's lots of different great threads. Usually your local sewing machine store will carry threads that they recommend and that works with all brands of machines. So sometimes it's worth not ordering like that multi-pack online that's like 70 spools for like $19.99. It's not the same, okay? You will find that when you start using quality thread, you can tell quickly what good quality thread is, and when you put something on that's not so great, that it's not. It's pretty obvious, and why you're going to start to want to use better quality thread. I mean, it's 50% of your seam, isn't it? Okay, needles. Needles is something that people always ask me about. So I'm going to just give you some highlights for needles. You do have a nice little variety pack, as you are noticing, that came with your machine. There are different needles for different fabrics, and then there's different needle sizes for different thicknesses of thread. So there's kind of like a triangle. It's not just needle to fabric, but it's also needle to thread, and they all have to play together correctly. Depending, like here, a jeans needle that's in this pack, that's got a sharper point on it because that's going to go through thicker fabrics. And it's also going to be in a bigger number, like this is a size 90. Size 80 is kind of a middle of the road. So if you don't know where to start, you can always start with a size 80. If you're going with a thicker thread, you need a thicker or bigger number needle as well. Needles, as you use them, do get dull, and sometimes it might just be like, or they get a burr on them, like if you've hit a pin or kind of heard a little clink when you've sewed, you'll find that there is a burr on the end, and that will make it so when you're sewing, maybe your thread breaks in the middle of your seam, or it just kind of, it sounds a little punchy as it's going through the fabric. That's all you need to do is change a needle. Usually when I have a class, whether it's a sewing machine class, an embroidery class, or some type of project class, if there's a whole bunch of people sewing, I can usually hear when there's somebody with like a bird needle, I can hear it across the room. I'm like, oh, you need a new needle. So if you find yourself just kind of being frustrated, put a new needle on. And again, if you put this size 70 needle in, because there's a 70, 80, and 90, well, here's the problem with the 70. This thread is too thick for that needle. Yes, you can get it through the eye of the needle, but it's not designed for that thickness. So you do have to also kind of see what thread you're using. And honestly, a lot of the information, like if you just ask, your phone or your tablet, what needle should I use for, and then fill in the blank with your fabric choice, it will give you a good suggestion for your needle type. There are other ones, like this one's a stretch needle. A stretch needle is actually one of my 911 needles, like if you call me in a panic and you're working on fabrics that have like lycra in them, things that are stretchy, and you're skipping stitches, that needle has a coating on them that helps for that. If you're working with gooey substances or spray adhesives, that needle will also help you with those particular situations. So I always have a pack of stretch needles close by, so I always love that the 5 needles that they give you, one of them is a stretch needle. But there's ballpoint needles, there's top stitch needles. So depending on your techniques, and again, your local store should be also able to help you with some of the needle choices that you're also selecting. So just tell them what you're working on. They'll make sure you have needles, and before you know it, you've got a nice little pack of variety needles that you can reach for as you go from fabric to fabric. All right, if this has been helpful, make sure you're clicking like on our videos. Check out our online courses in the description below, and I hope you'll check out the next video that we have in helping you master the Husqvarna Viking Onyx 30.